In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the steps for cleaning your Stabi craft, because hey, the more time and effort you put into this, the better everything's going to keep working, the boat's going to look better, and hey, it's going to be worth more when it's time to trade it in and upgrade to a bigger Stabi craft. Now, the most important thing with the boat is giving it a full freshwater wash. If you're taking it out in the salt water, you want to be cleaning away anything and everything that's been touched with salt. And we'd recommend using a salt inhibitor like Salt Away is a popular brand, but there is a whole number of them. The key thing is to get that salt water off everything, and it's going to last a whole lot better. Now, the first area we're going to look at cleaning is your anchor chain, and your winch. Now, what you need to do is run out your anchor, your chain, and the rope that you've used. Give it a good wash. Wash out your anchor locker and your winch or your windlass, and then winch it all back in, and that's going to help keep it clean in there. It might be out of sight, but if it's touched salt water, it does need a clean. The next thing we're going to talk about cleaning is your painted or alloy surfaces. Now, of course, we're going to wash away all of the salt, scrub away any blood, guts, and grime that gets on there. But to take the care a little bit further, do what I do. I use a coat of wax, like a good high quality wax or polish. Not only does it preserve the paint and the alloy, it actually stops all of the grime sticking to it, and it makes you clean up a whole lot cleaner if you've got a layer of wax on there. Now, when you're cleaning up, don't forget about your trailer. I mean, this has been in salt water as well, so you don't want to neglect it, because your boating doesn't happen if your trailer starts failing. So really important to get a decent high pressure wash and get any salt out of any of the moving parts. Again, use a salt inhibitor, because all the galvanizing needs to be protected from corrosion. So put plenty of time in getting right underneath on all of the parts and getting that salt off of your trailer. Now, down the back here, we've got the outboard motor, which is a pretty important component of your boating experience. So that needs cleaning. Now, your outboard will come with its own owner's manual, which will have recommendations on cleaning. Pay particular attention to how to flush the outboard, because again, you want to get that salt water outside all of the internals of your outboard motor. Now, while we're down here, we'll take a look at the bungs. Now, when we're washing down, of course, we're going to undo the bung to our bilge to drain the water out. But we also want to undo these other 3 bungs that go to sealed compartments, because we don't want to get pressure build up in these compartments. Now, the only reason that you should ever have any water come out of these sealed compartments is if you've got an underfloor kill tank that's draining into there. If you don't have an underfloor kill tank and you've got water coming out of these ones, that's when you're going to want to contact your Stabi craft dealer to have a closer look at it. Now, if your Stabi craft does have underfloor kill tanks, these are going to need a thorough washout. Even if you haven't had fish down in them, they get salt water in them, so a good mix of soapy water and salt inhibitor, and get some flowing water in there and give them a good flush out through the bung. And believe me, if you've left some fish in there and they don't get a thorough clean, you are going to know about it next time you jump on your Stabi craft. If you've got underfloor dry storage and it gets some salt water in there, you're going to need to give that a good clean out and then sponge out any water, because you don't want any salt residue or water sitting down there. Another area that's really important to keep clean and clear is your bilge well, because everything you wash down ends up in your bilge. So you can access it through your Armstrong hatch and just get all of the scales and crap out, because those are going to block your pumps and you're going to need your pumps. So once you get in there, you can access your pumps, you can unclip them, and you can clean out any scales, little loose bits of line, or anything that's going to bind up your pump. And if you keep that bilge nice and clear, your pumps should all stay operating really well. Now, another thing that's going to need a good washout is your live bait tank. Now, if you've had fish in here, they might have lost scales, and particularly if you put things like crayfish or scallops or mussels, and any of the sediment and stuff comes off of them, it can block your bung up. So get a rag in here and give it a good wipe out, then give it a soap up, pull the bung out and a hose out and flush everything out of there. Now, of course, the part of your boat that's going to get the most grime and dirt on it is, of course, the flooring. Now, if you've got a straight aluminium checker plate flooring, that's nice and easy. Just get everything off of it, give it a good soapy wash and a blast off. However, a lot of boats have flooring in them. So some of them are non-fixed floorings, like a marine carpet or a tube matting. Now, a lot of people will clean these in situ in the boat, but they do hold salt residue and water underneath, and if they're left in there, you can cause corrosion of the aluminium that's underneath. So we recommend getting your flooring right out of the boat, washing it out of the boat, washing the inside of your boat, and when they're both dry, bring them back in. And that's the best way for removable flooring. However, in this case, we've got a fixed flooring, U-Deck, and it comes with a specific cleaner that Stabi recommends. If you don't have any of this, sugar soap for example, that's going to do the job as well. The key is to get everything off the deck, get everything nice and clean, and when it's dry, everything can come back in the boat. Now next up, cleaning your glass. Now whether it's your side screen or your front screen, the first thing is don't use a brush because you can actually scratch your glass with it. And before I start even using a soft cloth, I like to give the screen a thorough rinse and get any salt off of it, because you don't want to be rubbing those salt granules into your glass. The next thing to consider is if you've got an acrylic screen. Now with an acrylic screen, you do not want to use a glass cleaner or something, a solvent like a methylated spirits, because that is going to ruin your screen. So if you're unsure on whether you've got a glass screen or an acrylic screen, just ask your Stabi dealer. Now if your Stabi is fitted with clears or a plastic drop curtain, they're going to have to be washed in a particular way so they don't go all milky and scratched. So it's important to use a non-wax based cleaner and just wipe them down with a soft cloth. And it's also important not to roll them up or put them away while they're wet. And again, don't use a brush because that's going to scratch the clears. So there you go, that's all the basics for cleaning your Stabi. And if I can stress just one thing, it is getting that salt away. So a thorough freshwater wash and using a salt inhibitor. Yes, it does take a little bit of time, but that's what your mates are for. And if your mates don't stick around after fishing to clean your boat, well, get new mates.